Muscle mass isn't an exclusive club designed only for athletes. Everyone needs muscle mass. Don't believe me or don't see why? Then stick around for this video because I'm going to share with you why and how. Let's dive into it. Now, I've already discussed how muscles protect the bone, so feel free to check that video out. But let's just get into all of the other benefits that come with muscle mass. Number one, cognitive development. So there is a relationship between muscle mass and that cognitive development. When you are actively working out your muscles, they release compounds that help improve your brain health. So without this, the brain starts to suffer. Okay, and that can happen at a young age, middle age, but especially in our elder years. So this is why I'm always an advocate on it's never too late to begin strength training and building your muscle mass, because the older population can benefit from it the most, but the younger population can begin to prolong that natural decline simply by keeping your muscles active. Number two, as you begin to lose muscle mass, you begin to look like you're losing muscle mass. You begin to look a little more frail, thin. The muscle reduction becomes very evident and visible in your everyday life, especially if you're someone who already has low levels of body fat. So when you're already low, you're already always been a naturally thin or skinny person in your life. As you age and you begin to lose that muscle mass, that becomes super evident versus someone who carries a lot of body fat. So what's difficult about that is that you might not notice how frail your muscles are becoming because you have the body fat that is covering it. But just because you can't see it does not mean that it's not there. Three, a reduction in independence simply due to that lack of strength that you're having. So when before you could independently, carry your groceries up the steps or pick up a case of water or open that can of, or open a jar of pickles or, whatever the case may be, you start to notice that you don't have the strength to do these things anymore. And so it really limits your ability to feel independent. And let's be honest, no one wants to feel dependent on another individual. No one wants to feel like it's difficult to perform their daily life activities. You're thinking like, well, I'm not someone who's trying to run a marathon or backpack through the woods. I'm simply just trying to carry my groceries up the steps or, make myself a sandwich. And you're finding those simple tasks to be difficult. That doesn't do well for your self-esteem, doesn't do well for your self-realization, and makes you start to feel not that great about where you are in life, especially if you don't have support around. I work with a lot of parents and they never want to be a burden to their children, but I'm sure they're grateful that their children are there. But also imagine if you didn't have anyone. That's a scary feeling. So it's important to continue to be independent and make sure you have the strength to back up your daily life activities so that you can continue on feeling confident in your own abilities. Number four, it can begin to reduce your mobility and balance. So when you don't have great balance, let's talk about that. So now when you trip over something, it's harder to catch yourself, and that can be if you have small pets, cats, small dogs, they like to run around you or sleep by the foot of your bed. You don't notice them. You get up, you trip over them, you can catch yourself now. But that muscle mass and that balance helps you do that. When you don't have that, now you're falling. When you're falling, now you're at risk for fracturing something. Shoulder, hip, knee, sprain. And we all know the older we get, the harder it is to bounce back from those things. And some people never recover. So, I'm not trying to make this video all scary, but I just want to be real with you about the effects on not keeping up with your mobility and balance and overall strength. Sometimes if you're lucky, it's just a bruise or a minor fracture, but sometimes those falls could be fatal depending on where you are, depending on how it happened, and depending on how the operation was. Because it might not have been bad in the moment, but then when you go under the knife, who knows what's going to happen there, right? So it's just something that you want to prevent at all costs. And in this economy, it's expensive to have to go to the hospital, okay? Like we used to jokingly say, I can't afford to be sick, but now I'm like, I literally cannot afford to be sick. Number five, you'll start to experience a decrease in metabolism, which will increase your body fat. This is simply because muscle affects metabolism. The more muscle mass you have, the faster your metabolism. So when your metabolism begins to decline, yes, you do start to put on body fat, yes, but it's also just other metabolic processes in the body that take a hit. So processes in our body do more than simply convert food into energy. They also help your urea cycle, your sleep cycle, the building up of proteins and all these other things. So on the immunity cycle, the childbirth cycle, there's so many cycles in our body that can be affected by our metabolism. So that's something you want to pay attention to. And then last but not least, we can start to experience an increase in hospital stays or an increase in the duration at which you're staying at the hospital, because the more muscle mass you have, the quicker your body is able to recover from things, the better your immune system. But when your muscle mass is low, immunity goes down, which means, again, you could get sick more, which could cause you to have to be in the hospital. And then depending on what you're going through, let's say you have to get a minor operation, it might take you longer to recover, extending your stay there. And no one wants to be in the hospital for longer than they have to be. Okay, so those are the six things that really, do affect your everyday life when your muscle mass takes a hit. But let's talk about how we can combat that and I'm not gonna say not allow that to happen, but prolong that happening. Number one, of course, begin safely strength training, and yes, at any age. Also, just moving in general. Inactivity is starting to become the leading factor in health decline. Number two, we want to eat better. Start consuming more protein, but in addition to that, eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, and eat your whole grains, because all of those together contribute to the health of your overall body, but also of your muscles. Number three, illness can also contribute to a decline in muscle mass. And while there are some things that are genetic or just conditions you were born with, and you can't really help those, the ones that you get simply because you had poor health, we can work to prevent those. Okay, so overall, just try to take better care of yourself. Drink more water and follow steps 1 and 2. And then lastly, we have aging. So there's nothing you can do about chronologically aging, but there is something you can do about your biological age. So your chronological age is the year you were born versus the year it is now and how many years it's been since then. But your biological age is how does your body feel? That saying, you're only as old as you feel? Yeah, they're talking about your bio age. So you can be 70 and moving and feeling like you're 30. It can help our bio age from all of the things above. Whether you're new to it or true to it, I would recommend working with a professional. Find someone in your local area that can have eyes on you, that can really help build you a program, that can see where you're starting and take you to where you need to be. And not just with the physical aspect, which is very important, but also that nutrition aspect as well, because the more we move in our bodies, the more we need to provide it with the energy and the resources to keep going. So nutrition and the exercise are going to be the main 2 things that go with this, but also coaching and accountability. Because yes, I am sharing these things with you and you're taking your little notes and you're saying, yeah, I need to do those, but what's going to hold you accountable for it? When you're not feeling it, what's going to get you out of bed to go do it? When you don't want to track your food, what's going to get you to do it? That's the part that a lot of people struggle with. So you need someone there that's going to push you, hold you accountable. So that's why I recommend, seeking professional help at least for 6 months, just to help you build that routine and, kind of wow more, get you started on your journey. I do offer a lot of resources on this page, YouTube videos, blogs, newsletter, all that stuff. But I also offer one-on-one coaching programs as well. So if you aren't ready to really hop into the gym or begin working with someone in that aspect, you can absolutely take advantage of the programs I offer here on this channel. Check those out on the websites. I have very different ones, and you can see which one best suits your needs right now. That's all I have for you in this video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Give me that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. The knowledge we gain is powerful, but it's knowledge we share that makes a difference. So please share this video with someone that could really work on their muscle mass and their overall health. I'll catch you in my next video. And as always, don't forget to crush it.